First and foremost, congratulations to the Kansas Jayhawks on winning the national championship last night in one of the most incredible final games in recent memory. Shout out to the North Carolina Tar Heels for making this run, an 8th seed, who people even question of them getting into the tournament and then to make the spectacular run that they did to knock off Baylor early on in the tournament. The defending champs had a 25-point lead in the second half, ended up losing that, forced overtime, but they dig deep and beat Baylor, so that showed a lot of resiliency. Took care of UCLA, took care of St. Peter's, Duke. That's still one of the greatest games I've ever seen in my life. And they took care of Duke, sent Coach K packing on a permanent vacation from college basketball. And then last night, man, that was a tremendous game. Kansas came out like kind of blitzed North Carolina early. It looked like Kansas was rolling on all cylinders. You know, North Carolina wasn't hitting any shots. They looked a little discombobulated. And then all of a sudden, North Carolina got their footing. Baycock, who, for North Carolina, rolled his ankle against Duke. He was holding steady, even though he shot, 3 of 13 from the field. But the man had 15 boards and 15 points. He played his heart out. Kansas, after that initial blitz, was, looking pretty rough. I think after the first, 11 points, they shot the next 5 of 21. They couldn't hit a shot at all. And North Carolina started to look like, a destined team to cut down the nets for all the marbles. Manic was, hit 3 threes in the first half. Black was a little non-existent. R.J. Davis, he was active. He didn't shoot the best, but he was active. But Caleb Love, against Duke, he was phenomenal last night. He just couldn't get going. That man shot 5 of 24 from the field, 1 of 8 from downtown. He couldn't get going. Then he ended up rolling his ankle. That didn't help. But Kansas has been steady, like they have been this whole tournament, probably this whole year. They just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. They didn't let up. And eventually that 15-point lead diminished. And all of a sudden we have a back and forth game for the last, 5 minutes or so. And then I feel like the ultimate turning point was when North Carolina was down 1. I think it was just about under a minute left, or right before a minute left in the game. Baycock has the ball. I think it was 6 seconds left on the shot clock, and he was driving, and then he ended up rolling his ankle again. Lost the ball. Kansas got the ball. At that point, it was so deflating. You just watched all the hopes of Carolina just go out the window. And then McCormick hit 2 big shots for Kansas down the stretch. Because before that man was in foul trouble. He couldn't really officially get going, but he did enough. He hit the last 2 big shots for Kansas in the post. Man, it was just a incredible game. Bill Self, shout out to him. I remember Bill Self when he was at Illinois, when he took the Illinois team back in 2005 to the finals, and unfortunately lost to North Carolina, coincidentally speaking. But I think that was his first title since 2008. It's been 14 years, so he finally got another one. I mean, besides that, Kansas has owned the Big 12 since. They have literally owned that conference. So they finally got another one here. So definitely shout out to them for getting that done. North Carolina, two, heartbreaking losses in recent memory in the title game. But, heck of a first year by Coach Hubert Davis. Heck of a first year. So yeah, definitely no love lost there. So, unfortunately, March Madness has come to an official close. Your boy is sad. Jay Good with sports is pretty sad right now. But, I think we'll be all right in the month of April. And I'll get into a couple of those things here in a second. But before I do, just want to give a shout out to the South Carolina Gamecocks women's basketball for winning it all, defeating UConn on Sunday. And let me give flowers to Dawn Staley, who is the head coach of South Carolina. Like, when I say her resume is unmatched, this is what I mean. So Dawn Staley, just her as a person. When she was in the WNBA, she was a 6-time All-Star. Apparently, she's also a 6-time SEC champion as a coach, 5-time SEC Coach of the Year, 3-time Olympic gold medalist, 2-time Naismith Player of the Year, 2-time Naismith Coach of the Year, 2-time WBCA Player of the Year, 2-time ACC Player of the Year, 2-time A10 Coach of the Year, 2020 WBCA and AP National Coach of the Year. And now she's a two-time national champion as South Carolina's head coach. This is Dawn Staley. That is amazing. Like I said, her resume is unmatched. So she deserves a lot of love right now. South Carolina as a program in women's college basketball is a powerhouse now. I remember growing up, UConn had the ultimate dynasty in women's college basketball. Man, from Diana Taurasi, who's still hooping right now. I feel like she been hooping my whole life. She's still hooping in the WNBA, but at UConn, she was a monster. Breanna Stewart, I remember her. It's a couple of Tina Charles. I just remember there's been plenty of great talent that came out of UConn over the years, and to actually see, UConn not the same is, it's an adjustment period for me to get used to. Also, at the same time, it is a breath of fresh air to, get something new, something refreshing, something different. And Dawn Staley has become the new bar in that regard. So definitely shout out to her in South Carolina for getting it done. So yeah, March Madness is officially done here. Great tournaments all around. Hopefully next year, continues and doesn't disappoint. All right, so NBA is basically, coming down to the nitty gritty here. The Lakers are basically just about eliminated at this point. They can't afford another loss, and also they can't afford San Antonio to win. It's pretty rough right now for Lakerland, and it's kind of rough for Brooklyn as well. I mean, they did clinch the play-in game. They are right now currently the 10th spot. People don't expect them to end in that 9-10 game. They probably will end up in the 7-8 game. They are currently tied with Charlotte. Right now, Charlotte, I guess, got the tiebreaker. Atlanta's 1 game up. And then Cleveland, Toronto, and Chicago are battling for 5, 6, and 7. So these last few games are going to be very pivotal here in that regard. But one bit of news from Brooklyn is official word that Ben Simmons is out the rest of the season and the play-in tournament. So any hopes of, Ben Simmons trying to work his way back in, get a couple of games before the playoffs, that just went completely out the window. I guess he really, really does have a back problem. And I know Kevin Durant said, he kind of alluded to that, the trade wasn't, really made for right now, but actually for down the line. But Brooklyn is not, I repeat, is not winning a title unless Ben Simmons comes back. They're just not. They don't play enough defense. Like Kevin Durant, remember the other night, scored 55 against Atlanta and they lose. Apparently Kyrie Irving took more shots than Kevin Durant, as Kevin Durant was, on his way to 55. But apparently, nobody played a lick of defense. Nobody else did anything else. And yes, I was one of the excited people for Kyrie Irving to actually play full games. I'm like, okay, this team's ceiling is more achievable now. But, if you can't play any defense, it's like you're going to get bounced at some point. When you run against a really consistent team, like let's just say Milwaukee in a 7-game series, or maybe Boston right now, even though they don't have Robert Williams, but, rumors have it that he could probably be back for the second round of the playoffs, third round, somewhere around there. Miami Heat, I feel like you run into any one of those three that's been more, more consistent and actually plays defense. Brooklyn's in trouble right now. So, we'll see how that goes. And as far as the Western Conference, like I said, Lakers in trouble. So they're 2 games behind San Antonio in the loss column, but San Antonio has the tiebreaker, so technically they're 3 games up. So with 4 to play, good luck there. Memphis locked into the 2, Phoenix number 1. Golden State got a game up on Dallas for the 3rd spot. Denver's a half game up on Utah, 5 and 6 right there. Minnesota's lingering around. It's going to be an interesting last week of the regular season here. A lot of games, a lot of meaningful games. I know the West's been, over the course of majority of my life, the West's been the most dominant conference. This year is looking like the East by far. When Brooklyn is the 10th seed and they're 2 games over 500, that says everything. San Antonio's the 10th seed and they're 12 games under 500. So let that sink in. So NBA, you're going to see a lot of pretty good basketball for the rest of this week. Playing tournament next week. NBA playoffs start at the end of next week. Yeah, I know it's not the same as college basketball here in March Madness, but we're going to actually see some more meaningful NBA games, meaning the intensity is about to turn up, and I guess the quality of the product itself is about to get better. So yeah, I'm here for it. And lastly for today, so switching gears all the way to golf here, because Tiger Woods, his name has been mentioned with the Masters that actually starts Thursday. Tiger Woods, who hasn't played in a major since, what was it? Was it the 2019 Masters or was it the 2020? Either way, Tiger Woods, as we know, was in a car accident last year, and fortunately for him, it wasn't a lot worse than what it could have been based on the reports and the speed and how he the impact of the accident itself. The fact that, he kind of basically said he's a game time decision for the Masters, that I find that very phenomenal. Tiger Woods, has been definitely one of the most impactful athletes in my lifetime so far. Tiger Woods is the reason why a lot of people that look like me like actually took an interest in golf. Like I ended up playing golf in high school because of Tiger Woods. I wanted to be like Tiger. I wanted to do the fist pump after a putt. I wanted the crowd to roar after I just, knocked in the ball on 18. Like, if a sport that is predominantly white as it has been over history can support Tiger, and Tiger being the face of golf for decades at that time, rally behind him. Like, if they could do it for him, how come they can't do it for me? And, just seeing that definitely was a major impact on my life at the time. Matter of fact, I had my former teammate in high school. Man, he's out, doing big things with golf, and I feel like, Tiger was definitely an inspiration for him too. So Tiger Woods, 46 years old, 15 majors. His last major was the 2019 Masters, which was a great story. Just the whole storybook, beginning to finish, on that Masters. He wasn't the same Tiger Woods with the power. He had to change his game a little bit, and he was able to beat all the young studs that year. That was phenomenal. And so, Tiger Woods, I watch golf when Tiger's playing. I am paying attention because I want to see, okay, first, is he going to make the cut? If he make the cut, okay, how far out from the leaderboard? And then I'm like, does he have any left in the tank to give us one more of those moments? In 2019, he did. I know, between post injuries and scandals and mentalities, all that, yada, yada, yada. The competitiveness in Tiger Woods is still there. And I just hope he can get as close to Jack Nicklaus, because he has 18 majors. Sorry. I just hope Tiger can get as close to possible, if not passing one day. I know at this point it seems very unlikely between all the injuries that he has battled through with over the years, back injury, leg injury, foot injury, yada, yada, yada. So I just want to see Tiger do well so I can have an interest in golf again. So without him, I mean, golf still has some stars, but personally for me, it's not my cup of tea without seeing Tiger. That's just my personal feelings on it. So yeah, Masters is this Thursday. Probably the most famous major out there. It's always in Augusta, Georgia. So we'll see what happens if he actually plays or not. All right, so Thursday we're gonna get into some more, NFL. Vegas actually, announced the over/under predictions for teams heading to next year. So we're gonna get a little bit into that. I mean, maybe finally we probably get into some NFL, pre-draft stuff, since that's coming up at the end of this month. Opening day for baseball. I'll let you know my White Sox are coming. My White Sox are coming. I think we actually got a bullpen this year, y'all. I think we do. And the offense already been there. We just needed some pitching. But anyway, you all have a great Tuesday. Follow me on social media at JGoodWithSports on all platforms. You all have a great day. Much love. Peace out. Happy Tuesday.